The Drop with Frank and Brian is officially brought to you by Switch Suspension. Switch Suspension specializes in all vehicle chassis components. Lift kits, lowering kits, air ride suspension, wheels, tires, steering, and brake upgrades. They use all the best products from the best brands. And these guys are truck guys. You roll into their parking lot at the shop and they all drive custom vehicles. So they use their products that they sell on their own vehicles. So if you guys are looking for anything for your vehicles, whether you're just starting out or you just need some replacement parts or whatever, give them a call or visit their website, switchsuspension.com.
Yeah, easy.
I feel this power.
No, don't say it. Don't say it. Welcome to this week's episode. I'm in the back today because we have something special going down. This is our first. Brian's leaving.
Bye, Felicia.
This is our first 4-person podcast. We have another returning guest, the OG guest, the first guest that we had, which is our friend Joey from the club. Forbidden Fantasy.
I see you, Mike, coming back before me.
Oh, keep going. And now we have another guest. This is Glenn, also from Forbidden Fantasy. Welcome. How's it going?
It's going good.
And Brian is going to be here at some point.
Glenn, that's more OG than the OG Joey.
So, I don't know. This is very distracting.
This is our third podcast today. You think I'd have this down?
No.
I was wondering why you didn't have the mic up there. I thought maybe... Well, because I thought, hey, man, look... I'm not going to tell you how to do anything.
Frank liked to talk about he's in the rear and he likes the fuzzy bunny on top of the camera.
Are we good?
We're good, I think.
Okay.
I backed it up a little bit.
All right. So, again,
I'm here.
Welcome to this week's episode. Joey, Glenn, Frank, Brian, welcome to the show. All right.
Orale.
So now we're here in person because the first time we did this, it was... You like recorded here at your pad.
Absolutely.
I was at my pad. Brian was at his pad, and it was cool. It was good. But now we're standing here. We're sitting here in person.
Well, I have to tell you, there was a whole big thing in my mind where it's like you told me not to cuss, and then every guest you had on afterwards started dropping bombs.
Well,
I'm still going to do my best.
No one has dropped bombs.
It's like
kidding.
a little slip here and there. That's it. But you know what? I from what I heard, it's only if it's in the first 10 minutes, right, or something like that. Is that a lie?
It's that misinformation? How many per episode? How many cuss words per episode?
Brian is also your FCC compliance agent.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know this about me yet, but I know everything.
Yeah.
We've met.
I did know that.
Right?
I did know that.
Yeah, we know Brian's a smart ass. Yeah.
So I guess the first place to start, and we'll get to Glenn in a second here because we got to introduce Glenn.
What if Glenn just never spoke?
He just sat there the whole time.
And we're all right, the podcast is over. Thanks, guys.
So
Glenn's off.
Little BTS. This is our third podcast of the day, obviously, because we're still wearing the same clothes.
I could say I'm wearing different ones because my front of my...
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
But we just had Pinstripe Chris on the show, which was a great episode. But I kind of felt that for a little while because they were talking, and I'm just like.
Almost like Brian when he was on the top, just quiet, looking like this when you're interviewing Mini Truck Revival, or I forget.
Victor.
Yeah,
that's sort of how we like kind of settled in on that. Like, this is the kind of setup we need.
Yeah,
because it got a little weird on a couple different ones.
Something personal about being in the same room.
Yeah, well, in that podcast, I was like, were you mad at the beginning of that? And I was like,
Brian's like.
I was like, I kind of was, but I wasn't mad at anything in particular except I couldn't see them.
That's right.
I was like looking at this side of both of them and at a blank screen. I was like,
that's right.
Because if I would have been you, I'd have been like this.
No, I should have just hung up.
Well, because we didn't know like exactly how you were gonna go, whether it was above or whatever. So I was like trying to leave enough space in between us to maybe do like a 3-panel thing. I don't know. It's fine. It worked.
There's enough Joey in that. I can't really see.
I can't see the cord is in front of him. Oh yeah, wait. Just put up your hand. Oh yeah, he's in there for sure.
I know he's in there.
I think we need more Joey, is what you're saying. Everyone needs more Joey.
No, that's good.
Everybody wants more Joey. That's what we did. We took a poll, and they said, "Who do you want to see back?" And everybody said
Please.
Joey.
You just want that gift I got.
I do. Hey, we've gotten presents all day.
Oh yeah, but mine are not as good as
Pinstripe
Donald's.
Chris gave
or
us an
Pinstripe
original
Chris's.
Pinstripe Chris painting. Oh no, he didn't do that.
No, he did not do that.
No.
I mean, that's got to be one of the greatest gifts ever. I can't imagine. Brian has one. The Cadillac one that you have in your office is a Pinstripe Chris, right?
It's not an original, but the Mercury is. We have a Mercury one that he did. Okay.
What do you think, Glenn?
Yeah, Glenn.
I think Pinstripe Chris does amazing work.
What
Yeah.
did you bring them, Glenn?
What did you bring
A
us?
juice box?
I brought a juice box.
Was that a Jewish joke?
Oh
No.
Whoa.
It should be a juice box.
Whoa, whoa,
box.
whoa.
Wait.
This podcast just got flagged.
Yeah, this is going off the rails.
Left quick. That escalated quick. Now that we're canceled,
Yeah. Now that this show's over. No, but
don't do that to Uncle Joey episodes, all right,
All right.
man?
You know what I was thinking that we can talk about on this podcast, on this episode? We can talk about the Avi.
Oh yeah. Okay. Is that official?
It's official that we're going back. It's
Okay.
official. So what is today? Today we're recording
The
the
10th.
the 10th.
September 10th. We have not released the information to the public. We have not announced where the show is going to be or anything except to our club. I got the hotel codes, but only for 250 rooms. I'm waiting for the whole hotel because I'm dealing with a new guy. Once that happens, then we can move forward. But by the time this is out,
It will already be out.
oh yeah,
Everybody
this
already
week-
know, but
this
it's
week
in
will
this
be-
moment.
Yeah,
Yeah. In this moment, no one knows.
yeah.
He wasn't
As of the 10th, no one knows. But when
ready.
this comes out, which will be the end of September
Uh-huh.
or beginning of October,
Everybody will know.
It'll be January, whatever.
yeah, whatever. The show will already be happening.
Yeah, I know. In this episode.
How'd you enjoy the Forbidden Fantasy show last week?
Yeah,
It's not my video editing, so it'll be before that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, there's like a little aggression 3 pods in one day.
I know. I'm all tired.
We're a
I'm
three
just-
pod. We're a 3 pod a day max.
Hey,
Oh
I'll
my
tell you
God.
what I this is like my reward. Because like I'm like if we knock out the episodes, then we're gonna get to Joey and we're just gonna have a really good time. So this is the reward episode.
Okay, I'll try. And
You're the
stop less.
reward.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're the reward.
Yeah.
Oh man, we are the reward.
No,
Remember
poor
Glenn's
Glenn.
here? Actually, there is
my
one
gosh.
thing because I wouldn't say I was studying, but I was listening to the first podcast that I was on, and I apologize to everybody for. You can hear myself. You can probably hear him today too. He likes to play in his room.
People have kids. It's okay.
Yeah.
One thing that we were talking back and forth on, all three of us, was what was the name of the club before we came Forbidden San Diego?
Lowered Obsession.
Aha!
Lowered-
It was Lowered Obsessions because I
Yeah.
was listening to it today and we were like, I don't think it was Lowered Obsessions, but it was.
It was. There was a lot of obsessions back in the
A lot
day.
of obsessions, a lot of fantasies. Like yeah.
I think Adam came from Forbidden Dreams,
Yes.
right?
No Forbiddens. Yeah, that's what
There
it
was only one other forbidden. There was a lot of fantasies, like twisted fantasies and stuff like that. But Joey, I want to let you introduce Glenn and who Glenn is and all that stuff.
Well, Glenn Moss, my Jew from another mother. Are we canceled yet?
we were done. We were cooked
We're
a long
done.
time ago.
I'm kidding. So Glenn Moss is the member of Forbidden Fantasy that essentially I had another friend who brought me around, but he's the one that kind of reeled me in by dangling the candy. You know, come get in the van.
So Glenn was in the club before you were?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
That's why I said he's more OG than the OG.
Well, you said that. I didn't quite what that.
What was the
understand what that
first
meant.
year you came around Forbidden, and where and like what was your story getting into the club, or how did you get into?
Maybe
the
you
club?
started Mini Trucker, not Forbidden.
I started in Lowered Obsessions, and that was in '99. And my first run was Rezo Y2K. So as a back then virgin runner, got ran, and then during the process of that, the club decided to break apart because there was some
Really?
leadership
Well,
issues.
in the middle
Like
of your
during your run.
Yes.
With
That's
Lowered
funny.
Obsessions.
With Lowered Obsessions, so the logos got scraped at Rezo,
And you're like-
came home, and I'm like, okay. And half the club of that club became forbidden and petitioned, and the other half became
Forever Low.
Forever
no?
Low San Diego.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, was that Marley and stuff? Like,
No, no,
No, they're
this is all
extreme
pre-
lows.
Oh,
They're
true. I'm so
extreme
sorry.
lows.
My
Okay.
bad. Sorry.
He's apologizing, Mark.
Sorry.
It's been a long day.
Since we will see you back at the Avi, man.
Yeah.
So then Mike contacted, I believe you,
Mike Littlejohn.
Mike Littlejohn, and then
Yeah,
from there, you and Ernie came down once a week for months.
Yeah.
It seemed like, and then a couple of us went up to meetings for months, and then all of a sudden, we went to the Forbidden Show. That was the first year at Paris. That would've been 2000.
Yep.
And after that, I think it was April, you guys granted us logos. You guys said, okay, you guys are kind of cool.
Yeah.
We'll let you hang out with us.
And you weren't a part of this at that time?
No.
No.
Oh,
No.
wow. That's interesting.
That's what we were talking about when we talked about my intro into the club, is that I was hanging out with street racers, and one of them was, was Marty part of Lowered Obsessions?
No, he was hanging out with us.
But he hung out with you guys
Yeah.
during that mini trucker time, and then he kind of veered off into the. He had a Honda Civic, like a '96 or whatever, but he veered off and was doing the street racing stuff. And then I met him, and then we went to an event
Yep.
at Mission Bay.
Yep. Glenn, take your whole mic and move it this way. Right there. Okay.
Just like that.
Yes. yeah. Okay. So that was that back that far, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Well, so like, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but you were going in 2000, like in April of 2000. Then is when San Diego got their paint.
I believe that's when we got logos.
What was the river run you went to when it was just you that showed up and then
West
yeah. So
That was West Coast, and I drove Mike Littlejohn's Saturn wagon out.
and it was just you.
It was just me. I left after work, and on the road trip out there, I got lost and ended up finding some random dudes in mini trucks. I was like, oh, I'll follow them. They know where they're going. And we got even more lost in the town, had no clue where I was, and ended up pulling up into the park, and it was dark and it was quiet, and I'm rolling through the show, well, the camping area with all the windows down, and all I hear is somebody yell, "That's our logo." Who the fuck is that?
Oh, with the Forbidden logo.
Because I've got a wagon
Yeah.
with a club logo on it, and I stop and I back up, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm Glenn from San Diego," and the guys were drunk and partying, and they moved a bunch of stuff out of the way, and they
Oh, cool.
come on in, park right here, right in front of everybody. Okay.
That's cool.
Oh yeah.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
And then the next day we got in a big fight.
Yep. Next day we had to
Just
fight.
about to say.
With who?
Well, so Little John, Mike.
Severed ties.
Yeah.
Oh.
Guys,
That was the whole thing where somebody poured water on somebody or in a boat or
that
something.
was
yeah.
no class or no clue.
It was tons of bees, and no
Whoever
clue?
was camped next to us.
Yeah, it was
like,
Bones and those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were
I
from.
say yeah like I was there. I know the story from a million times, but
Yeah. They sprayed water on
Brett's
Brett
truck.
Oaks, and he was in that blue dually from Negative Camber, and something happened, and they left, and I looked at everyone, and I said, all those guys are coming back.
it's about
It's about to go down. And
Yep.
so everyone, there was like our club, and then across from us was Tons of Bees, which was a party crew from Reno Valley, and then next to us was No Clue I forgot what their name was, but they were just like a break off of Wicked Intentions or something like
Yeah.
that. And so everyone like got prepared to fight.
Oh, really?
There was like
Battle Royale.
Battle Royale style.
Is this
Beers,
the-
there were beers going into socks.
Is this the same one where you said that you looked down the road
So,
and
right-
yeah,
so the horizon.
I said, all right,
Yeah.
guys, everyone's coming. So everyone gets prepped for this like battle royale.
for this war?
Yes, and we're actually going to have Brett Oaks on this podcast, so it's going to be interesting to get his story on this. So, anyways, we're at Parker on the Strip, and you look down, and there's just this zoo of human beings walking down with dust and the sun, and I said, "This is going to be a bloodbath."
Wow.
This
like
is-
those old greaser movies where everybody's got pipes and chains, and they checked you a lot less at runs back then.
Yeah.
And this is my first run with the club.
And you're like, this is cool. This is chill. This is
cool.
super chill.
That was also the intro to the gangster era of Forbidden Fantasy.
Yeah.
when people were strapped to the nines.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah.
I just remember like I think Glenn, I told Glenn, I'm like, oh yeah, sorry about that, your first experience with the club.
So what happened? Did it get rowdy? Did people
it
brawl?
did not get rowdy. Bob Hayes
flying in
came
with the golf
down,
cart. Oh.
got in between everyone, and it was just a kind of like a pump,
Yeah,
a
like-
puffy chest.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, uh-huh.
yeah.
Thank
And,
God.
I know.
Could have been a situation, dude.
Right?
I've seen some fights happen, but yeah, that would have been interesting.
Yeah, because there were weapons there. With the people guys from Reno Valley they were standing up on the hill, and since they were across from us, the people that no one realized they were they were on our team essentially, not really our team, but like that. And they didn't
This is the
realize-
Tons of
they didn't-
Bees guys?
The Tons of Bees guys were like lined up on this group of people that came down didn't know that.
Oh.
So
It was a strategy thing.
they would have
Yeah,
just
we're
been,
hitting them from both sides.
it would have been picking
Flanked
people
them.
off. Yeah, it would have been
Wow.
interesting.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. That's crazy. And when I was early on in the scene, like I would hear those kinds of stories. So like it's funny because like we've talked before on the podcast about Forbidden's relationship with Severed and no regrets, and everybody's cool with each other. But when I was in my old club, I didn't know any of that. So like he told a story about you three-wheeling through Severed's camp, But when I was young in the scene, like I would never fathom doing that. I'm like, those guys are gonna kill you.
Well, like I said, those were like the gangster times. And
Yeah, you mentioned that. What do you mean by that? Like,
just like I think the Fat Farm got shot up one time when the guys from San Diego were there. And
yeah, that's a story we can't tell on here. But it was like
I'm just saying, like,
no, the Fat Farm didn't get shot up. Someone shot from it at other people.
I heard that it got shot at.
No, it got shot.
Either way, there was quite a few weapons involved. There was a thuggish, ruggish aspect to it, where like your brain saying, it wasn't just puffed out. I mean, I remember Rezo. It wasn't 2000, but it might have been 2001, where we went trunk to trunk looking for people hiding because somebody messed with somebody's wife. Jeff Jaski's wife. Somebody was like stepping out of turn, and so like everybody got together and was like, that was my first big run with the club, and I was like, guess what, we're going looking for people.
Yeah, Jeff like walked up to random people, was like, open your trunk.
Yeah, like he was standing guard on the exit because he was trying to find this person. I don't think we found the person. At least not for this podcast, we didn't find it.
Yeah, no one found anybody.
But he was opening trunks. Well, that's like, okay. Either you open the trunk or we will open it.
It's kind of okay because in Donald's conversation we had earlier today, we talked about some dude getting murdered over a paint job. So
you guys actually might know the story since it was from a San Diego. The guys that body dropped Donald's truck was Ruthless Kustom.
The raffle?
Okay.
They raffled it. They were from San Diego. I guess there was a painter that got murdered or something.
Oh, is that not the guy from Sunset that came up missing? I apologize to Sunset if that's not the case, but do you remember the guy that I drove Sean's truck to that show, and it was at the bowling alley, and then there was that guy, and he just came missing, and I don't think they ever did find a tracer.
It could
I
be
know that guy, but I don't know. I know the name Ruthless Customs, and I remember the situation, but I don't know of them personally.
Yeah,
I know that
mini trucking's wild.
Well, you talk about the gangster years.
Yeah, I know, right?
When people had a lot less to lose than we do now.
I think that's
with
more
houses
the point.
and families and cars and podcasts.
Yeah.
There's a lot more involved. Like I was talking with somebody recently about the whole lowrider scene, because San Diego has just recently passed the law that used to prohibit cruising on Highland Avenue, where if you went back and forth in like less than 2 hours, you could get, I don't know if you get arrested, but you'd get a ticketed and your car towed and all that stuff. Well, so recently the United Lowrider Coalition has been working with all the state of California and other states to try and abolish cruising laws. And back in the day, you three-wheeled through somebody's hood or camp or whatever. It was very much a no-no, And now I went to the first day that they opened up the cruising again, and all these veteranos, all these old dudes with lowriders with $100,000 worth of work done to it, are like, this one dude started doing a burnout, or people try to turn it into the sideshow type of thing. Yeah. They're not having it one bit. You're not taking this. This has been 30 years that it's been illegal to cruise here. You're not going to shut it down the first weekend. Yeah. So people have a lot more to lose in this situation, so it's a these of that thug mentality. And that's what I mean when I say the gangster time. Yeah. People were a lot, these hands are rated E for everybody.
Well, I mean, that was it. Like when everyone was young.
Tired.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm too tired to get into it with you.
You guys want to go fight? No, I got to take a nap, man.
I know. I wish everybody could have. We should have retorted you guys coming in with the boxes in the house. You're like, 3.
Before it would have been ice chest full of beer and vodka, and we're like, you guys ready to party tonight?
Yeah.
Now we're like, I just want to go back to Frank's and go to sleep.
Well, we did get a little rowdy on Friday.
You did.
I did.
Oh, happy late birthday, my friend.
Thank you. Yeah. The twins, so it was pretty cool. So the twins came down, we hung out, and then little Brian and Steve like surprised me. So we're like sitting on my front porch, and we're just hanging out and everything, and this car comes flying up the driveway, and I'm like, what is that? And then so I'm like looking, and I go out there, and Steve jumps out. He's like, ah! Oh, hey, Steve! That's why my voice.
Dwight came out, right?
That's why I'm like a little raspy, because like I spent all of Friday evening trying to talk over Steve.
Pretty sure I'm the only one that can do that.
Yeah. So no, it was a lot of fun, but it was cool. But I told him, I said, that's how how people get taken out around here, flying up people's driveways.
Light comes out.
on the
Coming from my
compound.
neighborhood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but no, it was a lot of fun. But
So if we're a little less energetic right now, I apologize.
I bring it out of people. You'll be all right.
then we did a show all day yesterday.
Yep.
Well, most of the day yesterday.
You guys would know if you were there.
Cry about it. I was trying to prepare myself so that I was the freshest I could be for you today.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, you had to get
Lies.
mentally.
We were partying at our. My little brother Matt got commissioned as an officer.
Oh, that's right.
He
You
was an
remember
enlisted
telling-
man,
Oh, yeah, I
and he
remember
just
that.
got commissioned as an officer to be a PA for the Navy.
Well, that doesn't
Big
sound
deal.
important at all.
Big deal.
There was a car show yesterday.
Yeah.
No, he was wearing a white suit surrounded by a bunch of white people. It was a big deal.
Usually that doesn't end up well.
Well, not for me if I'm at court, but like for this, it was okay.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Hey, Glenn, you're still here.
Still here.
Glenn's still here.
Sorry, man. I'm a big
it's cool.
presence.
What I was gonna say is like after, so you went back and listened to the episode that you were on. Did you since then? Did you think of anything? "Oh, I should have said that, or I should have talked about that.
You know what? There was this one major thing because I was bitching and complaining about my truck not getting done and going through like 7 different shops, and I forgot to say thank you to Danny at Doghouse Customs. Now that everybody, Danny's like, "Pinche way," and Patty's like, "Pendejo." Anyway, yes, Danny at Doghouse Customs is the reason for this season. He's the reason I have my truck back.
Yeah.
So I forgot to thank him in that first one, and I apologize.
Well, what's funny is when we were at Donald's, there was he used to, I guess, like sell low life videos or something. Well, he had a bunch of low life videos, and he had the first one, and then the first low life video is Amy's old Accord,
The very first car to be featured in the low life video was Amy's Accord.
which is now
Glenn's Accord.
Glenn's Accord. So there,
And it's in Kim's name so that Glenn can sell it.
Probably smartest
Very
move.
necessary.
So who wants to explain Glenn's troublesome past with buying and selling?
Yeah, I wouldn't call it so much troublesome as like self-inflicted.
Oh, uh-huh.
But yeah, so where he was at with his story about talking about Forbidden becoming a chapter, but then your intro to mini trucking maybe.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
where did you come from, and what vehicle did you have, and all that stuff?
So I grew up in a military house, you know, moving around. So car culture wasn't really like a huge thing. Before my brother and I were around, my dad was racing SCCA style solo racing.
What's that? What is that?
Like when you go to the stadium and they have set up a bunch of cones and
Like
they
rally
do
racing?
time attack. type
Okay.
racing.
Yeah, that's sort of what they do. The C10 shows.
Yeah.
Right?
What kind of vehicles were they?
My dad was racing a Bug-Eye Sprite,
Oh, cool.
Oh, okay.
like old school.
So
Yeah.
that was your only like.
Well, and then he stopped
Google
that
it.
before I was actually born. And then when I was born, both my parents were part of a Jeep club, off-roading club. We were living in Indiana, so that was kind of my introduction into cars a little bit. And then when I moved out here, the small town that I moved to, the first trucks I saw were a club called Sweet and Low and High Anxiety.
Oh, okay.
What town was it?
Poway.
Same town you live in now?
I live
Well,
in Ramona,
Ramona.
just next door.
Oh, okay, yeah. A little bit more up the hill.
That's
right?
like saying
way
Apple
up
Valley
the
and
hill.
Victorville.
Yeah.
Right.
That's like saying Frank's from LA.
Oh, well.
Sorry to put that on blast,
Easy.
So I used to see those guys regularly through town, and it was like, yeah, those are cool trucks. And go to the grocery store, pick up the magazine, flip through. But it wasn't really like, I wasn't chasing that. It was just something that I caught my eye, and I was always interested in it. And then started street racing with a buddy.
Street racing is a big thing in San Diego, right?
Yes, humongous thing
Yeah.
back in the day, and realized that I didn't want any part of the law side of that street racing thing. I was kind of over it, and that was about the time my little brother picked up an orange Nissan from Mike Littlejohn, actually from Kyla, Mike's girlfriend at the time. And like a month later, Mike came ripping into the parking lot with this 86 extra cab, body drop, two-tone paint. And I don't know what he was pissed off about, but he pulled so far into the parking spot, ripped the lower valance off the front bumper, slammed the door. And I didn't know any better. I was like, hey, is it for sale?
Sounds like you do better to me.
Glenn's an opportunist, for
Right?
sure.
Absolutely.
And like a week later, it was my truck. And Mike was like, yep, you're going to come join the club because I'm going to keep an eye on the truck. I mean, we're going to be friends. And I really think he wanted to keep an eye on the truck.
He was very militant
Oh my God.
about things.
Where's this person now? Is he still around?
He's
or-
in Texas.
He's in Texas.
Oh, okay.
Still,
I
I
saw-
still keep in touch with him through Facebook. Cool cat.
Yeah.
Good guy.
Yeah, I really,
Super
he does
smart.
bikes now. He's a Harley guy now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then his, I think, I don't know if
Subarus.
he does. Yeah, and Subaru's like the WRX, the STIs and stuff. He
Those
does
are
that.
two very random things to do together.
His daughter has a WRX or whatever.
okay.
So
And he's into those.
Okay.
So kind of fell into Lowered Obsessions that way. And
And then
Only
back
for a little bit before they disbanded.
until they
exactly.
disbanded.
well, right at the right time, I guess. Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then been with Forbidden.
Who came from Lowered Obsessions to Forbidden? It was Mike, you.
Mike, myself,
Kyla, Eric.
my brother.
What about Gabe,
Gabe,
Jen,
Jen, and
Remember Jen.
Oh, yeah.
who was the
Rajon?
two guys?
Not Rajon.
No.
Oh, Ivan. Not Ivan. With the
Christian.
Ford, Christian, and
Josh.
Oh, and Josh. Okay.
I think it was those.
I was
of us.
thinking of I'm not gonna remember his name right now. He drove the lifted Ford Ranger that he
Gustavo.
street race. Gustavo. That's his
Yeah.
goose. Yeah.
Yeah. There was a big group of people. Like, it was a big thing to start with.
Yeah.
You mean the when you
The group.
chaptered?
The
Yeah,
rest.
the,
Yeah,
the,
yeah,
the group
yeah.
that you allowed in just logoed all at once, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was big. That was a big deal. Like, it was kind of fast, but it wasn't kind of fast. Like, there was a lot of talking before that.
Because San Diego was the second chapter of the club.
Brian says this is the first, but I always consider Riverside to be the first chapter.
Well, if you say, yeah, it's a weird thing. So the first chapter technically was SoCal, but the first chapter,
Chaptered out.
Yeah,
When they
it's like
chaptered out, so the
yeah.
original chapter
Okay.
was Riverside.
Yeah.
And then they chaptered out, so the first outside of Riverside chapter was
Right.
San
Right.
Diego.
was
What did
San
I call
Diego.
it just now? Did I call it the second chapter? Or what I
But
said?
that's right.
Yeah.
If you listen to the podcast that I was on before, it's right because Brian's yelling at us. Not the first chapter, it's the second chapter. I know everything.
but yeah, so that was, me and Ernie would drive down every Tuesday, right?
Every Tuesday to McDonald's.
To McDonald's, and then we would leave McDonald's, and then we would go to Mike's, the coffee shop
Mike's Coffee Shop in Poway.
in Poway, and had white hot chocolates.
Yeah, that's what you talked about in the first
I
one too, because you
remember
loved those white hot chocolates.
That's the only
apparently.
thing he's remembering.
Well, it was like a fun thing to do that night. I mean, I think you told me that the original the Riverside, you guys used to go to meetings and then go to Vegas.
No,
You told me
Oh,
that story
that's
one
wrong.
time.
I lied.
Okay, he's still trying to hold things under the table for other people's interview, but
Oh.
no, they would come down every week. I remember seeing them too. They were here all the time.
Well, because you
had
heard about
nothing else to do.
Well, no, that's true too. No, well, you heard about chapters and all these nightmares stories, and like people didn't know, like they would just give chapters away, and you didn't know about them or anything like that. Like didn't know who they were. So we really wanted just to know who these people were, and it worked out.
Heck yeah.
It's kind of 20 something years
Brian's
later.
like, "Meh." It's wild, the people you meet and the places you go and the history you have together. It's a wild thing.
Yeah, it's really cool.
At one point, San Diego had 25 logos.
Oh,
And we were
really?
rolling out to club functions, like deep.
Wow.
And then at the same time, at the opposite end of the spectrum, at one point in time, it was just the two of us as logoed members in San Diego.
It does go. It ebbs and flows very hard
Yes.
there, and I've always said that people have to be okay with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, when you were younger, you would really think that doesn't fly. A lot of people used to be very upset, but
I used to be upset.
yeah, well, rightfully so. If you're hardcore into it, you want other people to have the same passion that you do. But that kind of, there's mountains, peaks and valleys.
Yeah. Well, I just don't. I never liked excuses, and I'm the best person to give excuses. But
He's good at
when
it.
someone
Projection.
Would, yeah. Projection. When someone would come, I remember we would meet at fireworks to go to a show, and someone would roll up not in their club car. It was just their club car was at the house. It was like if they had a 4Runner, and then there was a
there's
show down the
town,
street from the house, and they didn't bring it.
Yeah, that would be terrible.
They just drove their stock car.
That'd be terrible.
No, but
He's talking about me.
yeah, I'm talking about.
Yeah, we all know. Like, we were getting ready to move on. We knew.
I like how Joey didn't even like.
Yeah, we know.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Was Sean not part of Lowered Obsessions?
No, Sean
No.
came later.
No, he came later.
He
Okay,
came
but
later.
he came before me. I know that.
Yeah,
There must have been like a real tiny gap there.
Yes.
there was.
But
Because when did you get in? So that was what, 2000? You said.
About 2000.
I was hanging out in 2000.
And 2000 was the first year at Paris. You said that was the first year at Paris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We came up.
But April's when
and-
you said everybody got logos.
Yeah, we went to the show in Paris.
I think
and
that's
it
why they
was-
got logos, because you guys came up and helped.
Yeah, and we were like the paper runners for all the judges.
Oh,
and we
that's
were
right.
All the crap jobs.
Yes.
Bitch work.
Yep.
That's so crazy because like I started hanging out with you, or not hanging out with you, but I knew you and hung out a couple times at shows in like 2003, 2004, and I had figured that you had been part of this, forever. But in reality, it was only a couple years at that point, huh?
Bro, I could be in a room for 5 minutes. And you think
Yeah,
I
that's
own
true.
the place.
I mean,
I hate to be that
Yeah,
guy. I'm
no,
not
no.
trying to be conceited.
No, that's
but
100% true.
I was made for this. Like, and I'm not talking about like having the coolest car or whatever, but this group of people, this is my life goal is to be affiliated with people like this.
yeah.
Our people that we consider not just friends, but this family.
A little stutter there.
Yeah, on purpose.
So it's funny because you are the outgoing, get the party started type, but low key, Glenn is
the
a
backbone.
wild.
He's yeah.
Glenn is a wild man.
Oh, he's nuttier than squirrel shit. 100%, dude.
What year were we at Rezo?
I was going to tell you. I was hoping you would. I was hoping you would. Fade into the background, Glenn. I'm going to take it from here.
He's all, I'm going to tell your story, Glenn.
No,
He tells
so
it better than I do.
Yeah, I
Well,
tell
you
every
weren't
story
really
better
there.
than anybody
Like, you were
does.
there, but
I was physically there. Let's be
mentally
real.
he wasn't. Okay, so we went to Rezo, and I couldn't tell you what year it was,
was
but I do
Rockahula.
remember. Yeah, it was at Rockahula.
It was
I couldn't
like
tell you
4 or
exactly.
5.
I thought it would have been like 3.
Could have been.
Well, so it was I think it was the first year you brought your body drop truck
that
out
was
after
03.
you did it in this historian over here. All of a sudden he knows something.
Well, no, just because I have stories from that run
I'm
too.
joking
That
with
whole
you.
run was wild.
Well, so that year, Roulette didn't DJ. I don't even know that he was DJing it at that time, but like
He DJ'd
it was
at
that
our
he
camp.
DJ'd at our camp.
Yeah.
And Brian brought his first. Like, a bunch of the dudes from San Diego came out. It was the year that I brought that white truck that you thought was mine. That belonged to one of our
the
members'
extra
band.
cab,
the extra
Tacoma.
cab with the water graphics on the side that were done by Parker.
Parker airbrushing.
Parker Airbrushing here in San Diego. That's who does all the logos in San Diego. Like
Okay.
Sunset, Forbidden, all of those guys. And I'm looking for Glenn. Can't find him. And so I go, and he's just, I don't know, what were you drinking? White Russians or something?
Couldn't tell you. I know I was drinking a lot of them.
He was drinking like the ship was going
he
down.
was at the main dance
And
stage.
so, yeah, he was at the
not
main
a lot
dance
of us were
stage.
there because we had our own DJ in the camp, so we didn't go to like the stage. Mm-hmm. But Glenn went to the stage.
But if you saw me at these things back in the day, especially when I was doing it, I was dancing on the stage.
Oh, I
Whether
know.
they
That's what-
invited me up there
I
or
know.
not, I was dancing on the stage.
Uh-huh.
I was always up there. But like Glenn, he was always there with me, but not like maybe in the limelight. But like I find Glenn at the stage and he's in one place and like I can't stand up, but he's moving and he's like I'm just gonna be honest with you, Glenn can't dance at all. But he was dancing.
He was in it.
But like in one spot, like imagine a river dancer. What do they call it? Like not moving their upper body, but their feet are going wild. And so like I get him. I was like, hey buddy, you come back with us. Like we're coming back to camp, dude. Let's
Do you
go.
remember any of this? Do
And
you have a
vaguely.
memory of it?
And so I brought him
Based on the
back because you
stories.
had Amanda with you, right? Amanda came to that run.
Yep. Sister Amanda came because she was getting friendly with
All of us. I'm kidding, man. If you see this, I'm joking.
that dude Nick with the Tacoma and the camper show.
No, he wasn't around at that time. No, he definitely wasn't around
Okay.
at that time.
Nick at Night?
No. One of our
No.
that
It's a guy
petitioning.
from San Diego who started out as like a static drop Tacoma, and then he bagged it himself out of nowhere, like with no nothing or anything. He just like started. He bagged it himself. But so I find Glenn. I'm like, you come back, and so we bring him back. Come on, Glenn. We bring him back to camp, and we're all hanging around, and nobody's paying attention for 2 seconds. Gone again. We go find Glenn, and he's in the exact same position
In the same
on the
spot
dance
as
floor, in the
this.
same spot. He built himself a little hole, like his own little personal mosh pit right there. And I just like 3 times it happened until we finally
funny.
just threw him in his tent and closed it. Stay in there. But yeah.
Now I remember the next day I was not in a good place from all the drinking. I remember being in the. I had to ride home with Sean in the diesel truck, and that made it even worse. And we stopped at some restaurant, and I'm like kind of propped up in the booth. And I'm like, I need some pancakes or some waffles.
Oh, yeah.
And then the waitress is asking me all kinds of questions. Oh, do you want bacon with that? Do you want syrup? Do you want fruit? And I'm like, I just want waffles. Just give me a plain freaking waffle. Just want a waffle. Just soak up some.
Stop asking me all these questions.
I don't need these questions. I just want a waffle. And finally she left and the waffle showed up. And
She definitely spit on it.
Oh, I'm sure she did.
Doesn't matter. At that point in time, it does not matter.
No.
I ate like half of a waffle and Sean goes, okay, get in the truck. And like an hour down the road, I was looking for my waffles because I was actually feeling better at that point. But man, that was rough.
So you said that you went with Sean in the diesel because he towed like all the food out. Sean, you remember Sean used to have he used to make everybody kick in $20, and then he would go grocery shopping for everybody that pitched in,
Dude,
That's
can't
right.
and some people that didn't. And he would make like legit 5-course meals for every
That's
meal.
right.
Like
Forgot about
What Sean is
Sean
this?
Hiltz was one of the members in
One of the-
San Diego
San Diego,
chapter
okay.
when I was
He had a
around. He had a
silver Tacoma.
silver Tacoma.
Is this the one that we're talking about?
No.
That I thought. Okay, this.
Oh, that's the Sean that he rode with to Rezo or whatever. But I also, because I thought Sean took his truck there, and there was one year that Sunset Church just truck and found a gun in it. Oh, it's not. He wasn't like he wasn't the gangster forbidden type, but he brought a gun when he took his truck with him because like he was always worried because he lived in he lived in Santee or whatever, but he always had a gun on him.
That's funny.
I'm sure he doesn't now, officer.
Statute of limitations.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
that's fine.
But no, that's when they used to check you pretty good.
They did, and someone earlier said that they didn't check you.
No, that's what I was joking around about, like all the pipes and chains and stuff like that. Like the couple of river runs that I've been to, they didn't check
You
that
just
good. But
back then, you just knew how to hide stuff better because at the river, any truck run, they would pull up, open the doors, and pop the hood, like you were going to smuggle stuff in your engine compartment.
well, I've been to Summer Madness where they opened my gas tank and took the gas cap off.
What?
What's up, dude? And that's when I was going with roulette too. I was like, "Oh, easy, killer."
Wait,
That's just because
hold
the
on,
people
hold on,
were
hold on.
2-foot Freddies.
What year was that? Or what? If you were to guess.
Yeah, keep asking me years, man. Calm down, historian.
Well, no,
I
because-
was probably 05, 06, something like that.
Because my club
it was
used
when
to.
Summer Madness came back, so it was probably 10 or after.
Oh.
Like because Summer Madness wasn't there for a long time. There was a
yeah,
couple of years where it was gone. It was
It went
at
to, like, Paris,
Robin's Nest, and there was
Robin's
one at
Nest.
Paris, and there was one. I don't know.
It was in Hanford.
I was just gonna say because my old club used to help out a lot and do like searching and stuff. So,
Frank searched your gas.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That was me. I'm all, what's in here?
Well, it's just there's been some places. So we joke about 2-foot Freddy, and Brian knows him. I don't think I've ever told you a story about 2-foot
no.
Fred. But there used to be a guy that was part of. He was in Ramona, and there was a couple of guys that were in Ramona as members of Forbidden Fantasy, Danny Macias and that. And this Freddy, what was Freddy's last name?
Freddie.
2-foot Freddy. That's what it was. He used to come to Forbidden Show, and he was one of those cats. And no disrespect to him, but he was one of those cats where you give him a walkie-talkie, my man has power.
Oh,
There's a lot of those
That's what I was
people.
gonna say, and I can say this now because a lot of the people who I'm referencing aren't in the scene at all anymore. But I could see that happening if it was like my old club because we had a couple guys in there. Same thing.
That it happened to a lot of people. So basically, at shows you had either clubs like they rented you out basically for security and stuff, and there were many times that you would rock up and you would be like, this person does not need to be in charge of anything.
Yes.
Well, so 2-foot Freddy, they put him over in the line with the people checking, but like he was
So
like,
at our show,
yeah.
instead of having security, like we would have to search cars. So, but instead of having a security guard do it, we as a club would do it with the security guard standing there watching us.
That way
So-
we could kind
because security guards were always like that.
Well, yeah, or they didn't want to. We didn't want them slamming trunks or whatever the case may be. But we had to search. So Freddie was in charge of searching. Or
He wasn't in charge. He was just helping search.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
but he definitely became one of those power trippy guys.
Oh, dude, he was opening doors himself and pulling people out of cars like a bad police officer, and like moving seats and opening trunks.
And this is at a Forbidden Show?
At the Forbidden Show at Paris. At Paris. Like when we used to have I don't know. People used to make me so mad when we had the line set up.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And people would get so angry. I'm not supposed to go with my friend. You'll go with your friends, bro. We're gonna block this off after him, and you're the first one in line next. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, you're like relax.
Been doing this for 20 years, my man. And Freddie was on the other side because they used to go through registration through Amy and Chris, and then they would come around the side, and then they would get in line. And like, you know, but he was like pulling me, and somebody came over to me. I don't remember who it was, Dave or one of the OG like Riverside guys. Like, you're gonna come get this fool. He's tripping. And so I took his his walkie-talkie away from him, and I said, "Now you're 2 foot Freddie. You stay 2 feet next to me at all times."
The other Glenn story that is amazing.
The what?
The other Glenn story that is amazing. So at our show, what we're talking about is we used to start rolling cars in at like 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, 5 in the morning. Yeah. So sometimes people would stay the night there.
Oh, is this a Glenn story, but about me?
Yes. No. This is. So, who had the motorhome there and was
Glenn did. No, it wasn't my motorhome. Somebody. Oh, it was Jamie's motorhome.
Jamie Van.
No, because he didn't have a motorhome. He had a trailer, right?
Anyway, someone had a motorhome and it was parked and people were sleeping there. And I was like, all right, guys, it's time to wake up. It's time to roll people in. And didn't you ask Glenn?
Oh, okay. So there's a whole more to that story.
All right.
We're going to go into a quick side journey and do an Uncle Joey story
and Glenn,
right here.
You can interject at any point in time.
Yep. Yeah, he was too busy sleeping.
Yeah, I
was getting my sleep on.
Okay, so Sister Amanda that he's talking about had come with us to the show that year.
Who is this Sister Amanda?
I don't know. White Devil came? I don't know. I'm just kidding. You've met Amanda 100 times. You probably just don't remember.
Okay.
But she was somebody who Glenn had as like a little sister because they worked at the Boy Scout camp. I don't know if you know this about my man Glenn.
Know
here.
that.
He used to work at a Boy Scout camp. He is an Eagle Scout. Which is actually a big deal to white people.
Glenn was
Donald's listening to this right now. He's like,
Donald, my man. Yeah, I don't think Donald's an Eagle Scout, but I think his son is, right?
They're going to. They did a bunch of stuff today.
It's a big deal. You have to do a lot to become an Eagle Scout.
I get it.
Huge deal.
Yeah.
There's but my thing in my head is so Glenn was a Cub Scout or Boy Scout that brought a Girl Scout around. Like, it just sounds funny.
Well, she wasn't a Girl Scout though.
Weird.
She was one of the counselors or whatever that worked at the Boy Scout camp because San Diego has a Boy Scout camp.
Okay.
I don't know if Boy Scout headquarters is here. Is that what's next to the zoo, or is it just a California headquarters or San Diego headquarters? Okay.
Anyway,
but no, she just worked at the camp grounds as like a counselor with the Boy Scouts there. So she wasn't a Girl Scout. She was with the Boy Scouts, but you're going to have a whole nother podcast to work that out. But so she came out. This is also the year that I'll just say his name. Jamie Van Heusen decided he was going to tell everybody in the club that we couldn't go out and party, that we had to be ready to be back at the show at 4 a.m.
How'd that go over?
I have a problem with authority.
Same.
Maybe if Brian would have told me, it would have been a different story. But Brian should have better known better because I rallied the troops for everybody to go out that night. And Ernie
always threw a big party.
Used to throw just a rager at his house. I'm actually in one of the Low Life videos dancing on counters at Ernie's house because that's where the Low Life videos were originally filmed during the Forbidden Parties or the parties at No Regrets, but for the Forbidden Show. And so I went out like it was my last night on Earth. I decided I was going. Oh, because you're not going to tell me, bro. I'm a grown ass man. I wasn't.
Sort of.
Well, I was grown enough to make my own decisions. Yeah, right. And
good,
so,
bad, or otherwise.
And so, I mean, just deal with the consequences, you know? And so we went out, and this is when we all stayed at Galen's house. And so I went to the party until like 3 o'clock in the morning. And then I came back to Galen's house and tried to go to sleep.
You didn't go to the party, Glenn. You were at the show.
You went to the party, but then you left and came back really early.
But didn't you go to the thing and sleep in the trailer?
Well, no. So he was at Galen's house, and then they all woke us up and said, we need to go. So we went to the thing, and there was the trailer there. And then we were only gone for like, I don't know, because I didn't actually leave until like 11 p.m. the show. And then we went right to Ernie's house because they told me I couldn't. Partied, wild out. And then I we get to the show and fall asleep in the trailer. 5 minutes later, this comes over the walkie-talkie. Hey, we got people coming up. This is when the dub show would let out.
Yeah.
And all those guys from the dub show would come directly, like straight out of leaving wherever the dub show was and come straight to Forbidden and get in line so that they could show the next day. And somebody gets on the walkie-talkie and oh, I got a lot of people coming. Like, what do we do? Brian gets on the walkie-talkie and he says, just get Joey. He knows what he's doing.
And you're just zooted.
It
Like,
gets better.
And so I go to get up and I hear Glenn rustling. And I'm like, don't worry, dude, I'll take care of it. He's like, yeah, no, but can I borrow your pillow? He had no intention of getting up to help me
That's
whatsoever.
funny. Nope.
He wanted to borrow my pillow.
Yeah.
You know, caveat to that story, we drove home. That was when we drove home on Sunday nights.
Yeah.
From Paris after being up for like 3 days straight. Because I used to come up on Thursdays.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll have that story later about the dog fights in Brian's backyard.
Was this the gangster times?
No. But so we would go to Farmer Boys afterwards. It was like our big thing, like you said, coming here and having like some fun was like your end of the night hurrah, you know. And
Yeah.
And I did bring them hot chicken. It wasn't very hot apparently, but
It was pretty good.
It was good.
and
it was good. You could-
and
you
so
could have
I'm
done
driving.
Hey, we're seasoned hot chicken eaters.
Okay,
so
well,
I mean,
that chicken
When you guys
apparently
go to-
wasn't seasoned enough for you.
When you guys go to Mini Nats,
No, we will. That's why I said we got to figure out a way to go to Hattie B's.
we will
Yeah, for
take you to Hattie B's.
well, if you guys either way, if you guys fly or drive, you're gonna go
pass
past
one.
it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, so I go to drive everyone home in my Honda at the time, and I had been up for days, and so I'm driving. I'm so tired. And Glenn and Amanda are sleeping in the car. Some of the bitches are sleeping in the car. I hated each one of them. And Glenn's house was in Poway, basically, and then I'm 20 minutes south of there. So I was driving, and I saw a sign, and it said Carmel Mountain Road exit 1.5 miles. And so I get over thinking it's like the exit, and I drove in the emergency lane for a mile.
Oh jeez.
And then I realized, oh shit, I'm driving in the emergency lane. I get out just enough time to exit,
That's
and then
funny.
drop them off.
So basically, Glenn has just screwed you over a ton in this entire.
That's what I'm getting.
Yeah.
Well, you make more friends than you lose. Like, no,
I chauffeured him out to.
he's driven me enough
That's
to
true.
be, you know, when we drove to NorCal, I mean, he always drove. He's, you know, because I mean, I was usually the one that was drunk as hell.
Yeah.
So I couldn't, nobody's going to trust me to drive. Nobody's asking Frank to drive at the end of the night. We all know that.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
All right, I'm the same way. It's like this way, and then we let the white people drive. So. Even though you are white, it's he's Chicano white. It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
But yeah, no, yeah, Glenn's always had my back, and so that's why it just works. You know.
The duo works. It's like the yin and yang.
Yeah.
Well, so there was a really long time where it was just me and him in San Diego, and it was fine. Even we were talking to Brian about it. He's like, yeah, that's fine because you guys just work. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like we were still doing things. We were involved. You know, we were there when we needed to, and we did all that. And so yeah, it's just like there would be no me without this guy right here.
Yeah,
You know, even
yeah.
though he might not have been the one that brought me in, he still brought me in when he told me, hey, you should come to a meeting and hang out. And then the last one with me, I said, well, I don't even have a truck. And he said, well, that doesn't mean anything. This is a friend
forbidden.
thing.
We don't
too.
have trucks.
Yeah. Very rarely. Or we
Not
have
long.
one.
Were we not just threatened right before we started
Yeah.
the show?
Yeah.
So, you gonna learn today. Once I get this truck, you guys are all dying.
Yep. Once Brian gets a truck, it's a wrap for everybody.
Oh man,
It
it's
is.
like 20 push-ups for not bringing. You know, when I first started hanging out in the club, San Diego Forbidden did have things that were very similar to what Sunset has, and hopefully you guys. I was gonna email you a question or tell you should talk about things that happen in clubs because I know that you were in. Was it Twisted Obsession?
Twisted Obsessions, yeah.
So Twisted Obsession. So I don't know if they had things like we had or like Sunset has. Like Sunset has a thing where they SWAT.
Yeah, the paddle.
The paddle. San Diego had a paddle for a while. And I actually got paddled at the mini truck council one time to raise funds for a friend of the club that passed away.
Oh, wow.
And I think that it was like $1,200
Yeah.
because they were all bidding to beat the crowd. They had a
Right.
dude that was a retired baseball player.
Oh, really?
Some guy from Sunset, right?
Wow.
And the council matched what they
That's
raffled my ass off for. Literally, I had to drive home after that from that college, whatever the name of that college
Yeah,
was.
the Mount Sac.
I was like this. It hurt.
Yeah, I
it was
bet.
worth it. We raised the money, even though apparently the money didn't go to the right person.
Oh yeah, that's a whole.
It's a whole nother podcast. We don't got time for that.
A whole nother podcast. But basically, this is kind of turning into like a chapter related like the stories here are just kind of a chapter thing.
For San Diego?
Yeah.
For San Diego, and just like in general with clubs, like how certain clubs different clubs chapter out differently.
Yes.
You know, and after we didn't do that because NorCal we didn't know anyone either. But after like that, we kind of just only started chaptering out when people left, and then we knew them.
Well, because like you didn't know anybody in Canada though, right?
No, and I didn't. The funny
Brian's
story
story's
is
falling apart.
a lot of these chapters weren't me meeting people. NorCal was Greg.
Really?
Yeah, Greg and Dino.
Oh, when they went up to the drop zone or whatever, right?
Well, no, Dino at
he knew
Rezo. Dino started the NorCal chapter because Greg and Dino were close. So that's how that happened. And then Canada was Dave Prater and Chad Cooper. They met Rich, and so that's how that started.
Well, I'm pretty sure that NorCal came before Canada.
It did.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
just saying that.
That's
I'm
how
just
that-
saying
that's how they
chapters
connected.
in general, they weren't started because
It wasn't just out of nowhere like San Diego was. Mike just started hanging out with
Mike
you guys.
knew me, and so Mike contacted me. But some of these chapters, it wasn't me that they contacted. It was through other people in the club.
And they brought him around, and then they became
Or
part.
then they came to me like, this person's interested in being a chapter, and like I was always like kind of indifferent about it.
Well, originally you didn't even want a chapter out, right?
I didn't want to at all, and all you had to do was ask me, and then I'm like, okay.
Now, after San Diego conquered that hurdle,
Right.
You know, and then he realized, because a lot of I always said a long time ago too. I always said like I don't want to have people that will come to our show and be like, and you
You
are.
don't know them, yeah.
And I'm not saying that everybody has to know me, but I would like to know everybody that wears my logo. You know, I call it my logo. You know what I mean? Our logo.
Yeah.
I would like for everybody to be like, "Hey, Joey," and I'm like, "Hey, so and so."
Yeah.
You know,
Like you don't have to hang out with them, but you just have to like know who they are.
well, yeah, I mean, just know and not know them. You know, like, and now it's so much easier with social media. You know, like. Whenever we have a private club page, as I'm sure everybody does, or a lot of people do, and then whenever somebody gets added to the family, oh, hello, how you doing? Oh, nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure, did Matt from Bakersfield, did he get his logo?
No.
Oh, he didn't.
No,
Okay.
he
He
just
just,
started
put a
petition.
picture up of somebody else's logo.
That was Joe's logo.
Oh,
For
okay.
Bakersfield.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I just know he's petitioning. You're
Yeah.
just talking about, people coming around. And the vetting process has worked.
Well, we were talking about it with Donald when I got in Forbidden Fantasy. It was 3 meetings and 3 mods. And
3 meetings, 3 mods, and 1 show.
And one event.
No, one event.
Well, for us, it was 3 meetings and one event, and that's what we talked about in mine, yeah.
This is like, it has graduated. It got harder and harder and harder, which is fine. But then there's like also the point of like, it was fun for us because it was easy. And now it's harder. So where's the balance of that? You know what I mean?
But also, Donald made a good point. He was saying that that's kind of the byproduct of in the early days of it, just like the club being big and getting as big as you can with as many chapters as you can. You know.
Tell him. Bring him over here.
Hey, Bubba, come here. You want to say hi to everybody? Come here, Spider-Man. Spider-Man. Right in the middle of a good story, too.
They're all good stories. It doesn't
Can you
matter.
say hi, everybody?
We've only told them a million times.
Say
Talking
hi-
to the
say,
mic.
I'm Spider-Man.
Say he's talking to the microphone. Say hi.
Say hi.
Say long-time listener, first-time caller.
Hi.
You say goodnight to everybody?
Oh, good night,
night.
buddy.
Good night, Uncle Glenn, Uncle Brian, Uncle Frank.
If you're listening to this right now,
Oh, yeah.
They're very confused.
High five.
They're very confused. No, that was Joey's son.
that was Joey's 16-year-old son.
That was my 3-year-old
Yeah.
son,
Yeah.
JJ.
Hey,
My
Joey.
baby.
Joey might have a 16-year-old son.
That's another podcast. I actually do. I could show you
Between
the
the
paperwork
between the two of you, it's a good possibility.
Yeah,
There was a lot
that
of
Glenn had my son.
or something.
someone did.
Someone has kids out
I
there.
actually have paperwork from the Los Angeles County Child Support
I
Services
remember that.
says that I owe child support.
Oh, really?
And by the time I got the letter in the mail, they had already tried to garnish my wages at my
Really?
job. And I said,
Was that just
I
like
do
a miss?
not have a child, but what is her name? Just in
Has she
case.
ever been to the river?
Yeah. Whose sister is she?
Yeah.
I should have said. Never mind. That's another podcast.
That's
too.
another podcast,
Um,
but not really, because like that is another thing that we need to like discuss the whole the whole relationship that you guys have, like with Glenn and you and Roulette, and Madhouse effects and doing stages and doing all that.
Yeah,
kind
how
of
did
stuff.
that start?
I started.
Joey.
I started just going on stage, and roulette they would just have people on there because they were trying to fill time. Mm-hmm. As I'm sure you know, going to Summer Madness is at like the later runs where people started to go to the stage less. I'm not going to say Brian started people going to the stage less.
What do you mean I started? I love this stage.
I'm just kidding.
The
Brian
stage
loved the
was
stage,
fun.
but there was a time where the stage was the place to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that
And
was a
then
hot spot.
people started getting more money, and especially like at places like Summer Madness, you had people brought their own bands,
Yeah, that was
concert
that
equipment.
was
I mean,
much
we did
later
it too.
on.
You said we went to Rezo and we brought our own DJ and
Yeah,
stuff, you know.
yeah.
But like the stage is where it was at, so I would always go on stage. And it's that old adage where like everybody wants to do both things until it's time to do both things.
Mm-hmm.
Like I always wanted to be on stage. The same thing. Everybody wants to be on the stage. No one wants to help when it's time to clean up or
Right.
no. If you've ever been to like a trophy presentation and any of the things that Roulette's doing, you see me and Glenn just like worker bees, just getting trying to get everything ready so that
Except
as
last
soon as
night
we unplug,
when Roulette was doing it by himself.
Oh, he was doing it by himself.
By himself.
First of
When I
all-
left, I was like, "Are you sure you don't need help?" He goes, "It's all."
Oh,
good."
loading and unloading.
Yeah.
Oh,
he was
okay,
loading
yeah.
back up, and he goes, "I'm good." And
Yeah.
it was just him, and I left, and he was all sad. Sophia wasn't there. It was
Oh, she wasn't
it
there?
was just him.
Oh, now I feel like a jerk. But moving on. Love you, Ro. But no, so I was always on stage, and like I noticed nobody was helping him. You know, this is when before Roulette, because at the end, or like I guess not the end, in the middle, Roulette would just be the MC, and he would bring in guest DJs to do that while he was hyping
I
crowds.
didn't know that. Okay.
And so, like, I worked my way up from being a guy that helped him move cords and pull speakers out of his trailer to being the only one that pulled cords and speakers out of his trailer. And then Glenn was always there with me. And so he was just like, I'm pretty sure where he evolved from is just getting sick and tired of waiting me do it for myself. Mm-hmm. And so he was like, but it's like Glenn like stepped the game up. Like we were just running cords and do whatever.
I know.
Glenn showed
Yeah,
up with
like, you guys were a
cardboard
team.
and tape and
So there's this
things professional.
There's a thing that with Glenn, and it resonates in our booth too. Mm-hmm. Glenn and Kim are like,
Oh yeah.
I mean, they dropped
Pseudo booth
basic-
managers.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. Glenn and Kim are two of the downest people I know.
Yeah, they.
Yeah,
would-
why do you think I'm sitting next to you?
Yeah, because even when like Greenville or not Greenville, where'd we go? Scraping the Coast.
Scraping the Coast.
I was like, I put it
Biloxi.
on the club page. I was like, if anybody wants to go to Scraping the Coast with me, let me know. Like, I need help running the booth and all this stuff. And then like Kim messaged me and she's like, hey, we'll go. And I'm all, look, you don't like have to like I don't want
Yeah.
pressure. Like it's to Mississippi.
Yeah, it's far away.
And then like it wasn't just Glenn and Kim that went.
No.
It was Glenn and Kim pulling the Honda Accord, and then Kim's parents in the RV behind them.
And then we met Kim's sister and brother-in-law
Yeah.
and their two kids out there, and then we brought the niece and nephew back
To the
here. Well, no, we brought them all the way back
Oh,
to
they
San
brought them
Diego so they could hang out with their grandma and
Yeah.
grandpa for like 2 months.
Yeah.
out
That's
here on
cool.
their summer break.
Yeah,
They're here every summer. Because
yeah.
his in-laws live in North Carolina.
Right.
Now.
So basically, being like your right hand man, like that's just like it's just kind of always been like I don't want to say your role because that sounds
Well, it's like
bad,
just
but
like his part of his fabric. Like that's who he is.
yeah, you're just
I said,
always,
there's no me without this guy right,
Right,
here. You
right.
know, like
yeah.
yeah. It's just it works. You know, the dynamic duo or whatever from San Diego. Like
Yeah.
we just have always. If one of us is going, the other one's going. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
There's been like ever since he got Kim. You know, she's down to drive everywhere. But, like a lot of people don't know that about.
I mean,
Kim
he
and
brought
Sam.
your truck to the show this year.
I know, absolutely. And Kim rolled it up, and then
Yeah.
Jamie said, "Give me that." But yeah, no, you know, Kim is so. A little quick story about Kim, Glenn's girlfriend, and you can probably tell it better than I can. But the can ride story is that Kim is an off-roader,
Yeah.
and she rides quads, and she would lead whole packs of like 20 people off-roading, and so her license plate. It's actually on the Jet
You
outside.
can ride.
right?
I saw that. I
It
was like,
says
what?
"can ride" because people used to always say, "Damn, that girl can ride."
Oh, right on. That's cool.
She always got introduced as Kim. Oh yeah, she can ride. Watch yourself.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But no one can trailer like her family.
Oh,
Let me
I know.
Tell you what,
Oh,
her
yeah.
family, they're like, I know you two do the trailering. Like one day, they
No.
do one day to North Carolina.
Yeah.
Like they just make it happen.
and just like watching Kim, like when you guys had that huge fifth wheel, like Kim just whipped that thing around. It's amazing.
Also, they're giants.
They're
Not just to me, because everybody's tall to me, but they're legit
They're
giants.
very-
The whole family.
Yeah, they're like 7'9".
Yeah.
Okay, Michael Jordan's looking up at him
Yeah.
like, what the?
They're not quite that tall.
Bro, they're
yeah.
giants.
Yeah.
Kim is the shortest one. I think she's 5'10". 5'10".
She's only 5'10". Man, I'm
5'11".
short.
Well, you're only 4'10".
Bro, we went. I'm 4'11 and a half. Get off my nuts. We went to the first show at the Avi, and it was just me, Glenn, and Kim, and her parents, right? And so when we got out of the car, I looked like the little Mexican adopted son of these goddamn gigantic white devils, all right? Let me tell you what, dude. I swear to God, I almost was like holding hands like this.
It's like the little Star Wars guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was more like that's the plane, boss. The plane.
No, like a little. I know you're an Ewok.
Yeah. Wow. That's
Yeah.
It's unnecessarily rough.
Well, I mean, look at
you
you.
just took off your hat.
As I took off my hat,
just
Harry
really
is
sold
all
that
get
for
up.
me.
Yeah, let me take my shirt off. I wear the hair guitar.
Well, tell us about your you and all this other stuff, but your vehicles. You've had some interesting stories.
Do you have that kind of time? How far are we in right now?
Well,
This guy plays
got all the
Matchbox
time.
with real cars.
yeah,
We got all
but
time in the world.
there was the blue and white Toyota that was that's what you got in the club with.
That's what I'm most known for, and it wasn't even my truck. It's a TV dinner.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with
Oh,
that.
was that the one on the show shirt?
Yes.
The
It was.
very first show shirt was
Not the very first show shirt.
No,
Oh, it is the very first
No,
one.
the very first show shirt was at the
Go-
fireworks.
Go to the tape.
Go
No,
check
it's
the
not the
tape.
very first one. The very first one was Fred and Tony.
Oh.
I'm sorry, couldn't hear you.
Well, that's okay.
Have
hold
you
on.
met Chata?
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
I think Frank's right.
I don't
No,
think it was the very
It
first
was
shirt.
the second one.
But it wasn't the first shirt.
It was the second one.
yes.
Yeah, but it was the first show.
It was the first
shirt
shirt
at Paris.
that Brandon did.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
The
of.
very first show shirt is.
Oh, that's right.
Let me
yeah,
get in on the
yeah.
caveat.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Let me clear my name real quick
Yeah,
because we actually, when we were talking about show shirts, we came to the same conclusion that you guys did a show shirt before that, but it wasn't a fuel market.
It wasn't a
shirt.
field market one, so it almost
Infinite.
didn't count.
Wasn't it
Yeah.
at fireworks?
No,
The first
it was
shirt?
the first year at Paris,
At Paris?
and it was Auto Graphics,
That was
From Summer Madness Autographics?
but the original owner, I think it was a
okay.
different company,
Yeah.
or it was the same company but different owner.
So this was your truck then.
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
86 extra cab, body drop, shaved everything that can be shaved. except
shaved
for corners.
the entire taillights, so there were no taillights.
That's what we talked about in the
Oh,
first
yeah. Oh,
episode
yeah,
that I was
yeah.
on, where he had trailer lights that he magnetic
right, yeah.
mounted.
There was shaved door handles on the outside of the door and on the inside. I had an electronic switch to be able to climb in and out of the car.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah. It was,
That's cool.
you had-
and
to
I tried
decide.
daily driving it.
Yeah,
It was
You had to
awesome.
decide if you wanted the windows rolled up or rolled down when you left.
Right.
So when I went to a river run in Nevada, I was wearing basketball shorts and a wife beater.
Mm-hmm.
And then we left
4
and we
hours
drove through
later-
the mountains.
Oh, and it was freezing.
And the windows were down. And I was
So when we originally did the interior on the truck, on the door panels we layered all the graphics out to match the exterior paint graphics in the different fabrics, and because of that, the window crank wouldn't go on and snap into place. And
It was
if
a-
the door panel was on, you couldn't get it in there to get the teeth to grab to roll the window up.
it's a very rudimentary truck.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
but people love that truck.
That's if I ever you know how you guys were joking with each other about winning the lottery and being able to buy something. I would buy an '86 Toyota, but it'd have to be the turbo version, and then I would do that exact truck in that exact paint because that was the first ever body drop truck.
don't ever buy the turbo version of that truck.
No,
No,
it's a
Andy's.
well, you guys
Like,
gave
Andy
away
had the turbo version.
I know, but it's like 10 horsepower more and that many
I
problems.
just want to hear.
You could do that and just get a turbo,
Yeah.
So it'd be a turbo truck.
but it would be not the problematic one that the
Yes.
Toyota made.
Okay.
You're right.
So when I win the lottery, you'll remind me.
Yeah.
No,
We'll
people
try.
won't. I won't tell
Well,
anybody, but
you'll-
there'll
you-
be
yeah,
there'll be hints.
This will win the lottery. Buy that truck, get it all done up, and just not go to shows with it.
True. I'm not going to buy it for you. I'm buying it for me.
That's pretty tough.
To all your listeners, I'm not buying it for y'all. I'm buying it for me.
So what happened to that truck? You sold that truck.
I started taking it apart to redo it, and then I got, like everybody else, I'm in over my head. I'm tired of it. Time for it to go away. I traded it to somebody for something, this, that, and the other, and then that started the cycle of me just going through vehicles.
This is an intervention.
Yes,
It's not going to help.
I've cycled through like 40 some vehicles.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you now?
That's
do you just,
conservative, right?
do you
there,
just
that
get the
number.
idea in your head that, or do you think it's just a good deal?
It's a good deal.
Yeah.
Usually in my head.
And then at one point in time, didn't you own Finnegan's Tacoma?
I did.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I owned.
What was the
Finnegan-
name of it?
Burnt
Burnt
Taco.
Taco.
That's
Taco.
what it was.
I owned that for a hot minute.
What was the condition of it when you owned it? Because it
That's after it fell off the trailer, right?
He picked it up from the accident.
After it rolled,
Mm-hmm.
and when I got it, I had to get a second cab, and at that point in time, it was rough, super rough, and I actually traded it. One of my now club members had a Ford Ranger, and his dad was anti-Ford, was you can have whatever you want, but this thing needs to go now. So we traded for Finnegan's truck that needed the cab put on for a running driving Ranger that was dropped on big wheels, and I was like, sweet, I got a driver. And then Brian and
Brian
Jeff.
Hannigan?
Brian Hennigan and
Okay.
Jeff went to town and got the new cab on it and turned around, and then it got sold to a guy up in
Sencal, right? No regrets.
Sencal, and he had it for a minute, and then he just sold it a couple. I like to keep tabs on it because it's still in my name, I believe, because I keep.
I got one of those.
I keep getting notices from the DMV
Yep.
about my Tacoma, and I'm like, I know which truck
Yep.
this is.
Was it having issues because VIN swaps and all that stuff?
I
or?
think it was having issues because the turbo was still on it,
Oh,
and
so
they
they
couldn't get
weren't.
to
They
pass
weren't being.
smog.
Yeah.
Oh.
And nobody wanted to do it under the table, and now I believe it's out of state. I think that guy from Sencal sold it out of state. I've owned quite a number of Toyotas, mostly Toyotas.
Yep.
Wasn't the Toyota that came from Dave's, or NorCal Dave?
Weekend
wasn't that
Warrior.
Like Weekend Warrior.
Yep, that came.
Glenn
through
had
me.
that.
Oh yeah, you had that for
That's
I had
that's
that for a while.
and then Jeff. Well, basically, you just became a filter system for Jeff's
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yep.
Jeff Beckley. Yeah,
Yeah, sounds
you
like
know,
it.
Yeah, and
Jeff had it for a hot minute, and then one of our club members, Poochie, got it, painted it.
you did the feature
Drove
on
it.
Poochie's truck.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's the truck.
yeah, it's the same truck. Yeah,
Same truck.
Did Poochie paint that brown?
Yeah.
For
Yep.
the San
Yeah.
Diego Padres.
Oh, I don't
think it
I don't
was.
think it was that.
It was just a
cool
root beer
color.
brown. It wasn't the
He-
Padres brown.
He loves the root
But for
beer
the sake
brown.
of him sitting there, it was absolutely
Oh, yeah,
Padre
it's
brown.
like- Exactly.
Well, we were talking about Poochie and the Padres because Poochie and him always razz each other about stuff. So
Can't say much nowadays.
I could say something if you'd like.
That's true.
I'm just gonna keep it nice, okay?
No, that's
I'd
okay.
rather talk politics than baseball with you.
As a Padres fan, yeah, probably.
yeah,
Keep it up, Frank.
You want
Keep
to
it
talk
up.
about religion and politics? Because I don't
there's
want to talk
more
about
winners
baseball.
in politics than the Padres.
Damn.
Hey, you're
Calm
not
down,
wrong.
Kobe.
Oh, all right. So what is your
Gets quiet. Urgh.
So what you just filtered through all of these vehicles and then you've come up on the Accord.
I came up on the Yukon actually first.
That's right.
Oh,
Yeah.
So we have two members in the club. They're not in the club anymore, basically. Chris and Amy.
Yep.
Amy had the Accord. That was the one featured on the first Low Life video. And then Chris had a Yukon.
Yukon that was lifted and then bagged.
It was lit, and it was big lifted, like
It was
38.
skyjacked, yeah, like it was
Yeah,
up.
it was giant.
Yeah. And the funny thing about that story is they re-geared it for the 38s. And then when they bagged it, they never did the gears again.
It's
So
still geared for the
38. So it was on 22s and it would like whine out at like 70
Oh, yeah.
or something.
but it tows
Does-
the trailer nice.
Does
Yeah.
Clayton still have that, or did he get
No.
rid of it?
no,
It's out in
Mike has
Phoenix.
it.
Mike St. Giddens.
Oh, Mike
I don't know if
ended
that's
up
how
with
you
it.
pronounce
St.
it. I'm sorry.
Gaudens.
St. Gaudens.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
apologize.
Yeah, he has it, and he's actually put a lot of work into it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
actually
fixed
like
a lot of
rolling
problems.
hard now, right?
Yeah, like he did a bunch of stuff to it. So I haven't seen it yet, but I've seen photos and talked to him, and yeah, he's put a
That's
lot of work
really
into it.
cool.
Yeah.
So wait, so now that I'm thinking about this, this just popped into my head. So that Toyota was yours, was on a show shirt. You have the Accord, which was also on a show shirt.
Yep.
Have you now had the most trucks and cars on show
Danny.
shirts? Oh, Danny.
Danny's also had two.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so does Jacob.
Cheesy has two.
What did Cheesy have?
Cheesy had the two Toyotas. The orange and purple was on a show shirt.
No, it wasn't.
No.
No?
No.
Just the green truck?
I'm like,
When
no, it
was-
wasn't. No, the orange and purple one was not on a show shirt.
And the green was his green one on a show shirt?
The
when it
one
was
that
burgundy, I thought it was on the show shirt.
No.
I don't think so. I'm gonna go pull my bin of shirts out.
Just
of the back here.
take the accolades, Glenn.
Yeah. Well, there's only been a few people that I've had two, and Glenn technically didn't. He
did.
just owned
Well,
the
I
vehicles
mean-
that
I
way.
own the vehicle now.
Yeah, I mean,
Glenn's like, I only get
Why
show,
you
I only get
picky?
show shirt.
He did
vehicles.
have the truck when it was on the show shirt, though, right? You it wasn't Mike that had it when you.
No, it was definitely mine.
That's
It's
what I
been
thought.
mine since it's been a forbidden truck.
Oh, okay.
do you have it back, or didn't, or weren't
He
you
did
working?
get it back.
Weren't you
I got
working
it back,
Uh-huh.
and I looked at the wiring, and I'm pretty sure we thought it was going to spark into a burn heap
on
of
fire.
crap.
Well, funny roundabout story there is that the person who got it was what's her name from Forever Low, right?
Yeah, it went to Forever Low.
The other half of Lowered Obsessions that twisted
Oh,
off towards.
yeah.
She was Tina, right? Wasn't that her
Yeah.
name?
Tina got it, and then she sold it to Mario, who was also from Lowered Obsessions into Forever Low.
Yeah.
And then it somehow made it into a couple of different Sever Ties members. And I saw it for sale on Craigslist. And when I hit the guy up, I was like, hey, that's my old truck. And we went back and forth, and he wanted me to prove it. And I told him a couple things to look for on the truck. And he was like, well, it looks like it is your old truck. What do you have to trade? Because I was thinking, like everybody does, oh, I'll get my old truck back. It'll be super cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I traded him a Tacoma that was bodied on 20-inch units.
No, cool.
Yeah, I probably should never have made that trade.
No.
It doesn't
The
sound
pink
like it.
one?
No, it was
Oh.
no. I got it from Tiny, and Tiny got it from somebody else. It was a whole thing.
Tiny No Regrets, Tiny? I don't even remember that truck.
Oh, yeah,
And,
which one was that?
It was
20
all-
units.
It was all primer. It hadn't come out yet. It was still being passed around.
That's
Yeah.
wild. Yeah, I don't
Where's
remember
Tiny's
that.
T100?
I
think
was
he
gonna
still-
ask
doesn't he
somebody-
still-
Tiny's garage?
Did he
He
still-
might still have it.
I don't think he does.
The
I think he's
T100? That truck was sick.
I don't know
Yeah,
why
it's a
he
cool
would
truck.
have it, but
Yeah, he's in Texas now. I don't
Yeah.
know if he still
Oh,
had it. Yeah, but I got that truck back, and I was pretty sure as soon as I connected a battery, it was gonna
Just
burst
go up
into
in flames.
flames, and I sold it to
Jeff.
and then
That's not. Is that Brian's truck, right?
No, it's
no,
completely different truck.
completely different truck. And then he did some work to it, got it up and driving, and then he sold it. And a couple years later, Jeff actually called me, and he was like, "Hey, do you
It
want your
burned
old
down
truck
the
back?"
ground. No.
No. He asked me if I wanted my truck back. I was like, "Yeah." What's the price, and what kind of condition is it in? And he showed me a picture, and it was 2 frame rails and an empty cab.
Oh.
And the guy wanted $1,600, and I was like, I don't want it
Nah.
that bad. Nope.
Wow.
No.
and
But you could have rebuilt it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, no.
So then you got the Yukon, and now you have the Accord. And
Now
what
I
are
have the Accord.
what are your plans, mini truck wise? Are you just gonna mess with Kim's Mazda?
No. We're gonna get her Mazda to a point that she can enjoy it, and then my goal right now, because I know that changes every month or so, is either like a 4Runner small SUV or
You had a 4Runner at one time though too.
Did
the Go Easy one.
body dropped on Juice and 20s, 20-inch rock stars.
That was Little Brian's.
That was Little Brian's project.
And where did that one go now?
That one's in Tennessee. With
Is that still that one?
Oh,
dude
that's
still owns it?
what's his
Sunset.
name?
DJ has it,
DJ.
Right,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's bright orange. In the pictures, it looks fantastic.
I talked to him at Mini Nats, and he said he's bringing it to Mini Nats this year for sure.
That's what he keeps telling me. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited to go see it.
That's cool.
I drove that truck with Little Brian to Go Easy.
oh, really?
Drop it
Like
off.
actually driving?
Yeah, like
Way back.
Yeah, way back.
Wow.
Little Brian got it and took it to Go Easy, and they did a bunch of work to it.
Oh, yeah.
Like juiced it, body dropped it, all this stuff.
Oh yeah, and it was still a project when it got to me.
Yeah.
Either a small SUV or I want to do a square body Ranger, because my first
we
truck
go.
that I ever bought myself was a square body Ranger, and I want to.
Are you going to have a goal and stick to it?
I am trying my best.
Scott,
He's all,
here we
hold
go
on.
turn on the
He's
AC.
all, hold on.
No promises, but I am trying my best.
Man,
there are a
Brian
lot of
completes
people-
one goal and then he's going after everybody's throats.
That's how it's. This is how it's going to go down. Yeah, I'm going to
He's
tell
gonna go
everyone
down.
what they should do, more than I do now. So like,
He does it to me all the time.
You do now, yeah.
because I say this because there are a lot of people that do what you do, and either regret certain things or like get to a point, like we get older so fast that we go, I wish I would have finished this, or I wish I would have got this and just stuck with it. Mm-hmm. Is it a discipline thing, or you just can't pass up a good deal, or you like get things and you
Mostly a good deal.
do you think
In
they're
my head, a good deal.
Yeah, and you think they're going to be easier than it is, and then you're just like, I kind of lost interest and do this. So like,
A lot of losing interest, and then good deals pop up.
'Cause we're trying to help people in out there in your shoes to.
Yeah, I
That
appreciate
happened to me because it wasn't 40 vehicles, but that's what happened to me. I got my first mini truck, and then I traded it for another one, and then I just found myself kind of trading down, and then it got down to where I had this like just pile of junk hard body. It was body dropped, had an independent rear suspension, but it was just a pile of junk. And then I bought a Cadillac after that, and then I bought a couple more cars after that. But then I had like 6 vehicles. I had 2 Cadillacs, 3 Mazdas, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to get one vehicle and start and finish it, and that's the 4Runner. That's where I'm at right now. So
I feel like
totally
everybody
get that.
wants to do that red paperclip thing.
What's the red paperclip?
Where the kid on eBay, he started with a red paperclip.
Oh yeah.
And he ends
traded
up
for
in
house.
a Porsche or whatever. No,
Yeah.
I don't know about a house, but he ends up in a Porsche. And they base that whole show on
trading up.
on Netflix. There's a show where they use that whole premise where you start like with something very small and you trade up and get to like a finished end. And if you think about it, and I'm not talking for everybody, but if you would have just stayed with the one vehicle from the beginning and got to the end, you might have been able to finish something yourself.
Too many people focus on one thing. I remember you were telling me this story, and you were just like, I wanted a body drop.
That's
truck.
exactly what I was.
I wanted a
bring
custom
up.
painted truck.
Yeah.
So he got the custom painted truck without realizing everything else was wrong with it.
Right.
Then you get the body drop truck and everything else is wrong. And then independent rear suspension truck,
Yep.
but everything else is wrong with it.
Yeah.
Instead of just like thinking.
You know what it's like? It's exactly like we talk about a lot when someone starts a project and they're like, okay, well, I'm going to bag this thing. You're like, okay. They're like, oh, I'm going to body drop it. Like, oh, that makes sense. You're bagging it. Well, while I'm at it, I'm going to do a motor swap and chop it and do a custom dash.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the mentality I had. It was like you said, oh, I want a body drop truck. I don't give a crap what it looks like, but as long as it's body drop.
Yeah. That's what got me in trouble with my truck. I wanted a show truck, and I was like, oh, it's got a reverse 4-link. I can't have a reverse 4-link. I need a full forward 4-link, and da-da-da-da-da. And it's just like...
Spirals out of control real fast.
Yeah. I had like a running, driving truck that now is not a running, driving truck.
Right.
You know, that it functioned.
Well, they actually got the body drop truck, and you were able to do it. Then you decided you wanted to paint it, and that's when it went down.
No, that did not when it went downhill.
Really?
Well, because I painted it red, all red.
But when you decided to paint it the two-tone.
The two-tone. Yeah, I don't know why I don't know why I decided.
It would have
to
been
do that.
rad. Oh, this is a cool color scheme.
Oh, you know why? Because the bodywork started cracking.
On the bed.
And I was like, okay, so I got a new bed. And I was like, well, the bed's not painted now. So it's already red here. The top's already red. Let's just two-tone this thing. And that's what got me in trouble there. That was not necessarily my fault because it's just bad work. What was my fault was when I got it back from the trade from New Mexico, I was like, I want to make this a show truck, but I can do it myself. So we cut the suspension and did the full forward 4-link because in my brain, you're like, this reverse stuff doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, no, it was fine. It's not optimal, but it was fine. I could have drove it. I drove it like that before. I could have drove it like that again.
It probably didn't meet your standards of what you thought an end game was
at
supposed
that
to be.
time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm just like,
That was before the book came out.
well, yeah. But
man.
the thing is if I would have started with a stock truck, yes, that's fine to do the forward. But I had a truck that I should have just waited till I was ready, like someone else could do it, not me to do it, or thinking I could do it. We could do it. Whoever.
Well, that mentality of now was not there then. You either did it yourself or you paid a gank of money to have it done. So
My mentality at that point in time was I had a roommate that thought he could do it.
True.
And I've put my faith into that, and that just didn't happen. And, yeah. So...
I mean, I
Here
can't
you
say
are.
much. Like, when I had the transmission go out in my truck, I got it put back in. A month later, it went to Summer Madness, and I didn't see it for 7 years. I mean,
Yeah,
not
I
that I didn't
remember.
see it, but I didn't drive it again for 7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
That
like,
was
I get it.
the Summer Madness that I first took my 4Runner to, or second one. The first one I took to it with it painted, but the second one I took the truck to, and I remember all of our trucks parked right there.
So sick.
Yeah, it was fun.
I was so excited because I remember driving up and when the transmission went out of my truck, Glenn came and saved me on the side of the street. And actually, we think we just came back from like a NorCal run or something, and I left my truck at his house, and we took his dually or something, and when we came back, I was driving it home and the transmission went out. So he came and picked me up in the trailer, as Glenn normally does. Glenn had a trailer when nobody has a trailer.
Remember when Glenn told everyone to screw off and basically got out of the club?
Well, yeah.
You want to know why? You want to know why?
Why, Brian?
Because we all used and abused him.
No, yeah. I can't. That's not the first time I've had his pants down and standing behind him. But no, he came and saved me, as he's done millions and millions of times before, and he drove me there. Now my stereo and my ignition and my. If you go to my truck, I have to have 2 door keys. One's for the ignition and the passenger door, and one's for the driver door because I had to replace that lock.
Oh, that's
and
funny.
at the Honda dealership here in, I won't say it, the Honda dealership.
That I work at.
You know, maybe the one he used to work at before.
Yeah, we don't know.
I'd never been
What
there.
happened? You're not even explaining what happened.
The stereo got stolen out.
Okay.
And I had one of the old motorized, and so to go to Summer Madness, like I'm not going to drive in this truck and not have any music all the way to Bakersfield by myself. And so I had to put in the stock tape deck because my truck is the lowest of the low, like the entry level hand crank, all that, and it was just the tape. And so I put a tape in, and the tape was connected to one of those ones that goes in the aux cable to my iPod. And then my iPod was connected to the cigarette lighter, so it'd stay.
That's funny.
This was drawn power from everywhere.
Yes, sir.
Just to
But
make
it was
some
one of
music.
the best rides. You can't tell me getting in your truck for the first time. You're going to feel this. You get in your truck for the first time and
Maybe.
you go to a show. It's the shit. And then I really messed up and left it there.
Yeah. Well, so what? Why did you just like just trying to fix the things that were done on it, or like?
His transmission went out.
My transmission
No, I
went
know.
out. And we
So
went to
I
Summer
know,
Madness.
so- but
and
then,
we
like,
left
how did it-
Summer
no, he
Madness
Got
on
the,
a...
but here's the thing is, the way his suspension was set up, his transmission was going to go out again.
Oh,
So I had
so that
a
was
reverse
okay.
cantilever 3-link suspension, which is a long way to go to bad suspension. And there was, instead of using, I don't know the terminology, so I don't even try to pretend. A Heim joint, is that what it's called? Instead of using like a Heim joint, they used just a closed pipe that was welded.
Oh yeah.
As a solid
And
amount.
it opened like
Oh,
this.
yeah.
The pipe did. And so it went like this. So the whole thing twisted my my rear end forward and then back when I drove, and I was able to drive it back home.
And it
but
just smoked
so
the
I had to re-weld it back on, and it worked for a little bit, but then the transmission went out.
So
see.
7 years later, he got his forward link.
Yeah, I
Also,
know.
you know what? It wasn't that Summer Madness. It was something else. We actually went and got the transmission a day. Was it a Summer Madness?
We were at Summer Madness, and we drove,
And we
like
drove
2 hours.
like 2 hours to Fresno from Bakersfield on the Friday of the run. Me and Glenn did, and had to deal with a helicopter landing on the freeway
Oh wow.
and evacuating somebody out, and then we drove to a junkyard to pick up the transmission and dropping off the core because Brian brought the core from my truck, and then bringing it back.
Glenn,
and then
you
the guys
deserve-
in Riverside. No, I mean,
You deserve a finished vehicle of the
Yeah.
one you want. I know you have the Accord, but all of this stuff.
Yeah.
All this stuff.
Oh man, putting up with me alone if I won the lottery. The first thing I'd buy was that truck for me and then something for Glenn. You know? No, I'm kidding. But no. When I say he's my right hand, or he's my number one Top Gun cadet. Like he's right there. It's my A1 from day one. So
That's awesome. That's
the
cool.
yin and yang.
yeah, no, for sure. Like it just has
The
always
yin
worked.
and yang, but equally as cool. Equally
Different
as
equals.
wild.
He's a quiet wild.
Yeah,
and I'm a
that-
loud
oh,
wild.
I know.
We've met.
Yeah.
But we can't go by without talking about the one story we went to NorCal where Glenn almost got arrested with Chad.
And charged
Go
for
on.
And charged
he was
for-
a sexual predator.
Oh, what the? Go on.
We went to NorCal to party because that was for that was their Christmas party. NorCal's Christmas party they used to have in this big steakhouse lodge. It was like a thing.
Well, we left San Diego so early in the morning. We drove through LA, and there was a truck on fire, and people are still doing 65 past it.
And there was
wow.
a truck hanging off the grapevine. Like the front end of the truck was hanging off, and the trailer was still on the freeway.
Oh, wow.
Still no traffic.
Still, that's how early.
Because we left San Diego at 4. If you leave San Diego at 4 a.m.,
There's just
you can
zero.
get to San Francisco by noon.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I left here to go to downtown LA, and there was no traffic that one morning.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's like 4 a.m.
We woke up. Brian left our door open, just like shit. He peed all over the carpet. Just like, bye, bitches. Yeah, he wrote on the walls.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, so we drove up there, and we took my truck, but it wasn't bagged at the time. I think it was just lowered, and we had a cooler in the back, and the cooler lid had ripped off, and like we stayed at Chad's house, and he was up in the mountains, so like their chapter was in Petaluma, which was it was like 40 minutes outside of San Francisco,
Santa Rosa,
and so the Chad's house, he didn't tell us at the time, is 2 hours outside of where we need to be.
Well, yeah, because here's the thing: you say like NorCal, you think it's all relatively close, or
Not even a little
SoCal,
bit.
or SoCal. Yeah, people.
I think Bubba's like 15 hours away from San Francisco.
Yeah, something
but
like
he's
that.
still in Northern California.
Yeah. So did Chad like live around that area?
Chad
or?
lived 2 hours north of where we were supposed to be at. So we met him down with everybody else, but then we were staying at his house that night. And so we decided we're going to drive up. Glenn, being like the awesome guy that he is, he jumped in the car with Chad because Chad had like the nice leather seats and the SUV and all that shit. And he drove with him, so I'm driving behind him. They get off for some reason. I don't know where we're going. I thought that was our exit. They get off, and then they go over the, like, because it's just one of those bridges. They go over the street, and then they park. I'm like, okay, maybe they just need to tell me something. Or I don't know. I didn't know. We had cell phones at that time? We're old.
maybe.
And with pagers.
Yeah, right.
And
That's
so
right.
Glenn and Chad get out of the car, and they both go to the back wheels, and they just start peeing on the wheels of their own car. I'm like, oh, these assholes need to pee. And all of a sudden, boop, boop. I look in my rearview mirror,
dude.
and there's two white people in front of me, and I'm the Mexican in the middle of the trip.
Watching him pee
I'm
on
like,
this guy.
and this
pervert.
dude comes walking past me, and he stops at my window. Stay in the car. Yes, sir.
You're like, no problem.
And he goes up to them, and he makes them stand next to the car, next to each other. And then he looks like he's going to put, I don't know, did he put you guys in handcuffs? He looked like he was going to put him in handcuffs. Another guy comes up, and he was getting ready to arrest them for indecent
wow.
exposure, for having them things out.
Wow.
And peeing on their own car.
That's crazy.
They got tickets.
Yep, got a ticket. Had
For-
to fight it.
Yeah, for public
Did you fight it?
urination or something.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, it could have been, because it was public urination, but it could have been indecent exposure or
Yeah.
something. That's why he fought it.
Oh, okay.
You're not trying to be registered
don't
as a
wanna
sex offender for
catch a
peeing on the
case,
side of
yeah.
a road.
Yeah, if you're going to be registered as a sex offender, I mean, just
It's not that. No, I'm just kidding.
Really do some offending.
Just
you're
kidding.
going to go to prison, murder someone, right? Like
No, 100%. No, you can't. You don't want to go to prison as a sex offender. It doesn't matter what you did.
No, I get
Not
it.
that I know, but you know.
That's what you heard, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, you fought it, right?
Yeah, I fought it. And mine got knocked down to urination in public, pay a fat fee. I don't remember if Chad fought his or not, or
He's-
what the deal was on his.
White. He got out.
Meanwhile, Chad's like, hey, I don't know what you're talking about, man.
yeah.
Chad's like, I wasn't even there, bro. According to advice of my attorney. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep. Yeah, man, what's some wild times?
Oh, I could look back at some of my favorite, best memories, and he's right there.
That's cool, man.
Because yeah, I mean, he had to be, or else I never would have got home safe. I'll tell you that much. He used to come to my birthday parties just to drive my drunken ass home.
Kim and Glenn saved me and Angie just about a couple months ago.
At the
at
Havasu?
No, at Brother Dave's wedding.
Well, did they save you from Havasu to you and Frank? I mean, you and Frank, you and Henry.
Me and Henry, yeah, you guys did. Yep,
Henry and Dwight, actually.
Yeah,
That's who
yeah.
they saved.
pretty much, yeah.
Wow.
Glenn,
Oh, yeah.
Glenn has done Glenn is doing the Lord's work.
Hey, I like seeing my friends
He
around.
does. You can't see this guy not look at a Toyota, though. You know, I mean, there's some people, especially some people, like, because I know the people in our club pretty well. Some people in this game are like savants when it comes to mini trucks. They just know. Like Cheesy, like I hope you have Cheesy on here someday, because
Oh
my
God.
man
I don't know if I haven't.
will have.
There's not enough.
There's not enough memory
bandwidth.
cards in the world to keep up with this guy's wealth of knowledge, though. Or his
Oh,
hot ass wife, Lana. Hi, Lana. Whatever. But no, Cheesy has like he could tell you what truck, what painter, what shop. You know, like he's and Glenn's pretty much the same way. He's really good at just knowing like famous trucks and.
That's great, man.
A
That's
wealth
really
of
cool.
info and a wealth of help helpfulness.
Well, and a wealth of space that he was able to actually store these cars. Like, it's these people with this big old compounds.
Yeah, I know.
He got caught in the crossfire of like the Hatfields and McCoys next to him, and he was the collateral damage from it because
Oh, really? What happened?
the city came out to yell at these guys, and Glenn got
really?
caught in the crossfire.
Oh no! Did that recently or?
2 years? No, 4 years ago now. 5 years ago now.
Oh wow!
My one neighbor, older lady, didn't like all the noise that my one neighbor was doing because they have a like a lawn care business or something. They were building themselves a new truck to transport all the greens. I didn't say that. You said,
I said it.
And
My cousins.
they're building the truck at like after they're done with their normal daily routine, and so like 2-3 in the morning they're still grinding and welding and pounding and trying to shape everything and get it dialed in. And she called the city on them, and city drives by my backyard.
They're like, whoa!
And look at that.
They check for
7,
junkyard
8
permits.
Toyotas. I got a Lincoln Continental back there. I got 49 Chevy back there. So they send me a letter. It needs to be running and registered, or it needs to be removed from your property because you're zoned for agriculture. You're not zoned for mechanical work.
Yeah,
you got
that sounds
30
like exactly like my thing that I got going on.
Yep.
Oh, that's funny.
And I got 30 days to clear the property.
Oh wow!
So-
Or have it in like they had
Or
outdoor
I had to
sheds
build a
now.
garage and have everything stored inside of a building.
What
So-
was the conclusion of that?
All his
I
shit got sold.
I sold everything. We built the shed and put the 49 Chevy in the shed, and
That was it.
haven't looked back. I mean, I'm bummed. The Continental is kind of a dream car, and another one will come
Kind
up.
of a
But
dream car.
You should just rezone your place.
yeah, I'm a renter. I'm not about that. The homeowner is super chill. Lets us come and go, and oh, this is broken. Yeah, just go ahead and fix it. We'll talk about the receipts later. No big deal.
That's cool.
So
That's
I
awesome,
luck
man.
out with that.
Hell yeah.
Well, Glenn's in-laws used to be part of or they are part of still. I'm
Used
not
to
sure. Used to be part of the Over the Hill gang.
Oh really?
Which is, yeah, if you've
I
heard
wonder.
of it.
Yeah, we have an over the hill gang up in the desert, but I wonder if it's the same thing or maybe
There's
there's
different
chapters.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
there's chapters.
They've been
of it, but
around
they,
forever.
yeah.
They do a big run here. What's it? On Mother's Day weekend. What's
Mother's
it
Day
called?
weekend. It's called the Streak.
Streak. And if you see these dudes, it's like what you expect us to be when we're old. Because I used
that's
to
what
go
it's
and
gonna
meet up
be.
down there with them, and it's super fun. They do a lot of fun stuff, but it's all everybody parked in rows just like a run.
Yeah.
And everybody's hanging out at picnic tables talking. People are driving through in their hot rods and stuff. It's really cool.
It's cool. That's gonna
It's
be
a
us,
little
man.
weird I took a mini truck down there when I had Weekend Warrior. I took that down there, and they weren't quite sure about it. Some of the guys were like, "Oh, custom dash, shaved up. This is cool." And some of the other guys are just like hardcore
The
hot rod or
purists.
nothing. And
Yeah.
And there's that in every culture.
yeah.
There's that in every culture, But the people who do the what's the Good Guys car show?
Yep.
Ray, one of the members here in San Diego, he knows one of the guys, and they want to have a mini truck corral next year.
Oh wow.
Well, they're trying to get. We were talking about this. I talked to one of the guys from Good Guys when I was at the C10 Slowdown, and the cars now, the mid 80s, late 80s, they're old enough to go to this. Like the cutoff is moving up, so you're going to have mini trucks, and they need to push it because they need.
They wanna fade out,
Well, they
yeah.
need fresh meat into the Good Guys stuff because I don't know. My opinion, I don't know if it's too late for them or not. Because
You
there's
mean Good Guys with the hot rod culture? Or?
No. Just Good Guys to attract that type of people because there's so many other events now that already started. They got like the jump on it to attract. And so those people are now going to, they don't want to go to, there's just not enough, there's too many events.
Yes.
And so for Good Guys to now allow it after so many years of saying no,
Like almost pushing people away and now wanting to pull people
and now
in.
realizing like, oh,
Now
not
we need
everyone.
you guys.
Yeah, we need new people to make these.
Isn't that kind of
sustainable.
funny that like because we were talking about this in the last episode about new people coming into the scene and stuff, and we're like the new people for their scene. We're like, we need those young guys, in their 40s,
Yeah.
in their 40s and 50s.
Bring
We need
those mini
guys.
trucks in. Come on.
Well, I mean, most of the people that we have, or at least most of the people that I talk to, everybody's pretty eclectic. Like people enjoy not just. I mean, you have an eye, and it's almost the same thing with music. Like you don't have to just like one music.
Yeah.
You can like all musics. And I mean, I'm not a Yodel fan, but I mean, I like rock, I like country, I like rap. You know what I mean? Like all across the board. It's the same with custom vehicles. You know, I mean, I can like full on respect the work that that people do
sure.
in every culture. You know what I mean? It's a little harder to go to like, I don't know, some car shows where it's all stock vehicles, or you'll have like wheels, or you just do exhaust. Like a lot of the big meetups here in San Diego now, they're cool. There's like 500, 600 cars, but the majority, like I roll up in my truck and lay out, and people are like, you know,
Are they like a lot of the street trucks type stuff?
not more street
street
trucks.
cars.
It's just like cars, like Mustangs, like
Challengers. like all
yeah,
that stuff.
the big motor V8s that come straight from the dealership lot straight to.
Are these
car
are
show.
these like younger people who are doing
a lot of them? Yeah.
So because like I forgot, we've done a lot of podcasts and talked a lot over the past couple weeks, but we're like trying to figure out like what are the younger people attracted to, because like our generation was like Hondas and mini trucks and stuff like that. Like what is an accessible car for someone who's interested in cars? In this day
Anything
and age?
Mopar, because they'll just finance.
Anything Mopar.
I think that's pretty. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
It's $2,000 car payments at 10% interest.
Yeah, or more.
when I first
84 months
I don't know.
When I
There's
first-
a lot of people that are still doing the Honda game because the Honda Accords are easy.
with older Hondas or newer Hondas.
Both.
No, the newer ones.
Oh, really?
Because the bag kits are super easy,
Yeah.
and it's like the S10 of nowadays. You can go online, you can buy a whole carbon fiber kit, you can buy a whole color kit, you can buy a wrap that's dialed in.
Can you buy that stuff to your work at all?
No.
No.
My work is anti-custom.
Really?
well, that's what I was just about to say.
Honda in general is not, though, right?
Honda in general is not, but my specific shop is very against custom cars. Like we've had a couple of people come in. We had a nocturnal car come in to get some recalls done.
Yeah.
And
Glenn
I-
works at a Honda dealership.
Well, he
I
was
work
trying
at-
not to say that.
No, he was just saying not which one.
Oh, not which one. Okay, all right.
There's like 17 Honda dealerships in San Diego.
So, I like checking out the cars that come in that are custom.
Yeah.
We've got a bunch of clientele that have lowering springs and custom wheels, but like a nocturnal car came in and it was done up nocturnal style, fancy paint, full custom interior. So I was over there checking it out. We had a client that Bobby from Sadistic bagged her car.
Oh, really?
And she would bring the car in, and I would walk past her car in one of her first trips by, and I was like, "Oh, I recognize the logo on the front plate. You know Bobby?" And she's looking at me like, "Bobby who?" I was like, "I'm pointing at the plate. I'm like, Sadistic."
She didn't know.
Well, she didn't know him as Bobby. She just knew
Knew
the
him.
shop
Oh.
as Sadistic. That's where she had taken her car.
Oh, interesting.
And
What kind of
then-
car was it?
It was a Honda Accord
Oh, okay.
that he had done.
Narrows it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it gives at least gives me a visual on. I mean, I'm thinking of maybe I don't know. It's a Sienna, like a bag Sienna. I don't know.
No.
That would be in a Toyota dealership.
Yeah.
I'm a little
Like-
tired. Okay,
Yeah.
man. It's been a long.
It has been a long day, and this podcast is at an hour 35.
I'm still okay to go. Let's keep going.
Keep it going.
Yeah, let's keep it rolling.
What else is on your mind?
That's what I was going to say is that, in San Diego during the street race times of the early 2000s, there was there's the Mile of Cars in National City. And there used to be a dealership called Fireball or Ball. It was Ball Honda, Ball Mitsubishi, Ball Acura. And they had a thing through the dealership that they called Fireball Performance.
Oh, really?
And you could buy exhaust, turbos, lowering springs, rims, everything you could buy that was bolt on. You could buy it there, have it done, and put it with the financing on
Oh,
your
wow.
car.
That's cool.
So a lot of people were buying Eclipse with you get turbo timers put on it, you get wheels, you could get spoilers, and it was all still covered under factory warranty if you got it done
Some
at the
dealers
shop.
push that stuff.
Yeah.
And
I know.
some manufacturers more than others, but
Ours does not.
yeah.
Well, I feel like you could, if you're using it through the finance of the dealership, you could really make a lot of money financing that stuff for those people. Not that
And,
that's
like,
the
putting
name
a
of the game
premium
for us,
price
but
on
I'm
it.
just talking about.
Is it dealer by dealer that decides that kind of? Yeah.
Well, because
charging
they obviously did it within their dealership that they did the warranty on that, not through. You couldn't go to any delership and probably have the warranty work done.
But then they're probably charging like $2,500 to put springs in it or something.
100%.
Yeah.
Why not?
Not including the springs.
Yeah.
Tax not included.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, that was a good one. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
yeah.
Heck yeah.
We'll have to have more stories next time.
We will. This is a reoccurring thing. This is
I hope so.
Uncle Joe.
I enjoy it.
Time and Brother Glenn.
Well, like I was saying recently when I was just going through, because I go through these tears, and you both know because I start calling you with notes
Yeah, like
every
saying,
5 minutes.
Yeah.
And
So
I know
the next
exactly
time,
when you
though,
film,
The
so
next time we need more current stories, which means you have to go to things.
Bro, I go to things, all right?
I'm just kidding.
I was awesome PC. I was awesome pre-COVID, okay?
I'm just giving you crap.
No, thank you guys for coming down. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
And then
thanks
you got
for
a
the
35-hour
chicken.
drive. Oh, I'm glad you
chicken
liked it.
was
Sorry it wasn't spice in there for you.
Yeah, next time do better.
Oh, yeah. Next time I'm going to marinate it in burn your asshole spice all day
No,
long.
next time we're going to Tacos El Gordo.
Who are you talking to? We could have gone there today. We could have done
I
it.
forgot that's down here.
Next time, we're doing a
The
live
OG
podcast
one.
from
Yeah.
Tacos El Gordo.
Oh man, how far is it from your pad?
Well, so they opened one in downtown San Diego now. So,
That's closer.
It
Oh,
is
really?
closer,
Where
and
was
it's
the other one
never
at?
that busy. It's in Chula Vista now.
Oh, okay.
The original one was in in National City, and then they opened one in Chula Vista, and then they opened up an even bigger one now.
Oh, cool.
So we can go Cruise Highland, and then go end up at Tacos El Gordo, and then
sounds
Cruise
good.
Highland back.
That sounds like a
good.
plan.
So yeah, for sure.
We'll
Thank
do
you
it.
guys for coming out.
Yeah. Thanks, Glenn.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Oh shit, Glenn's still here.
All right.
Well, that's it. Thanks for checking out this week's show. We're very tired.
We have done.
We've done 3 podcasts
Yeah, we've
today.
done recorded 3 podcasts today,
Best of the end.
and not just like 3 podcasts close to each other.
No,
We are 150 miles from your house.
I know. It's funny. It's funny you should mention that. End of this. So, like when we were talking in last week's episode about how far Joey's pad is from me, I said 175 miles. I was way off.
It's about 150 ish.
121 miles.
Oh, that's
from,
not bad.
From my pad to here is 121 miles.
Disneyland's closer than your house. That's wild.
Who lives closer to LA? You or you?
I'm
I'm
okay.
79 miles from Disneyland, and that's
Downtown
about halfway
LA,
to
that's
downtown
Orange
LA.
County.
That's halfway to downtown LA.
Is
So
it?
probably
Okay.
150 miles to downtown LA.
How close are you?
60. So
Oh, okay.
60?
All right.
60. Yeah.
I
It
just
is-
thought you took the 60 to get there.
No. It's 60. It's like 60 miles to downtown, and then it's like 68 or 69 miles to Dodger Stadium. That's like my thing that my gauge.
Yeah.
Anyway, dude. All right. Bye.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
See ya.
Before
Bye.
you get tired,
Yeah,
angry.
before I just like pass out right here. Bye. See you later next week. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
All right.